Our story begins in a small town called Botham, Wales, where a little girl is pondering something as her mother is tucking her in for bed.
What's on your mind, sweetie?
Why does no one ever invite the guy that lives on the hill all by himself to their Christmas dinner?
What would make you think such a horrid idea?
Why is it so horrid?
Mindy, no one invites him because he's not the festive person. He doesn't like Christmas for some awful reason, and he just prefers to be alone.
That's silly. Who would like Christmas?
The Grunch, that's who.
Why do you call him the Grunch?
So we don't get sued.
The next day, Mindy remembers the conversation she had with her mother the night before, and it's still bothering her. How can someone not like Christmas? Then she began to think maybe just her mother doesn't like him. So she began to ask around town.
Oh, terrible boy, that old Grunch. It was absolute nonsense.
Oh, nonsense.
Nonsense. You know he once shooed away a paper boy.
Oh, a paper boy, you say?
He's just doing his job. It's capitalism at its finest.
You know, I heard one day a dog walked into his yard. A dog, yes, and you know what he did? He kicked it right over the shrubbery, he did.
Right over the four...
Right over the shrubbery.
Wait, we're talking about the thing with 4 paws and goes woof.
Yes, the thing with 4 paws that goes woof, and not my mother-in-law.
Oh, you are a treasure.
Oh, yeah.
How much time you got? First off, he stinks. Smells like weird fish and stale bread. And not to mention, why would I invite him to my holiday? Has he ever invited me to his holiday? Besides, I actually want to enjoy my dinner. And he's only happy when he's complaining. And he stinks. Why would you invite someone who can't hold his liquor to an open bar Christmas party? You see, I used to go steady with him. He was a charming boy. I did really like him, but he just became dreadful during the holidays, dear. And like I said, he can't hold his liquor, dear, and that can get messy. Finally, she had enough of the confusing stories and decided to find out for herself. So she mustered up the courage and decided to go to the house at the top of the hill. The outside was bare. No decorations or lawn ornaments. Not even the front porch was lit up. In fact, it was pretty dark inside from what she could tell. She finally walks along the driveway up to the doorstep and rings the bell.
For the last time, I don't want any of your damn cookies. Oh, hello, little girl. Answer remains, though. No cookies. If you're not here about cookies, then what can I do for you?
The Grunch stands all of 5.5 feet tall, hunched over a bit from what appears to be a bad back due to poor posture, thick lens glasses which look like they have undergone several repairs, dressed simply in slacks hiked up way too far, with suspenders to make sure they stay put, as well as a collared button-up shirt.
Why are the lights off?
You know, you're too young to understand this, but electricity isn't free, you know. Pretty sure you think it comes from magical unicorn horns, but it doesn't. It comes from money. Is that all you came here for?
I want to invite you to Christmas dinner.
Tell you what, little girl. Normally, I don't celebrate Christmas. But a free meal is a free meal. However, before I make that decision, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to complete 3 tasks and then come back to me. And then ask me again to attend your dinner. The tasks are as follows. Number 1, Aunt Peggy isn't going to show up to Thanksgiving dinner. I know her. After Thanksgiving dinner, I want you to simply ask her why she didn't attend. Number 2, simply don't wear your festive hat when helping decorate the Christmas tree. Just don't wear it. If they try to force it on you, bite them. And 3, help your Uncle Remus go shopping on Black Friday. It's an interesting experience. It's like running of the bulls, but redneck. And once you have done all these 3 favors, return to me, and then I will have my answer for you.
Mindy was so thrilled while leaving the Grunch's house that she began to think of who she was going to tell the good news to first. Then she began to think maybe it would be a good idea to have him show up as a surprise for everyone on Christmas. For the first time, the Grunch was going to be coming to Christmas dinner, and it was all because of her, and she could barely contain her excitement. Everything was going to be great. Right? Mindy Werler wasn't easily excited in life. She was used to the idea that things don't always go the way you want or even need them to. One time she even got denied a lollipop after a doctor's visit simply because some grown man before her demanded that he had the last one. She was barely fazed, though. She simply nodded her head and said thank you anyway. Above all else, she was always polite. She had a sense of how horrible the world could be sometimes, but she still made sure that she had a smile on with people that deserved one, and even thanked and apologized to people that didn't deserve it. However, no matter how dark or bright of an outlook on life she had, one thing that could never be ruined for her was Christmas. She loved Christmas, and it wasn't like she even had a chance to hate it, or even mildly disagree with it for that matter. This was because of her hometown of Botham, Wales, loved the holiday, and would shun anyone that felt otherwise. Forced or not, she did thoroughly enjoy Christmas, and really couldn't understand how someone could not like it. She didn't know of people who simply didn't celebrate because of personal beliefs or otherwise, because the town she lived in simply never allowed a thing to happen without repercussions. Like in the Grunch's case. The poor guy simply does not celebrate because he has a different holiday that he takes part in. However, the town doesn't see that as a legitimate reason, only as a possible excuse to avoid being festive. This is why Mindy was finally getting excited about something. She was going to prove to her town that anyone can enjoy Christmas if you approach them with enough kindness and warmth. Because that's what this holiday is all about. Togetherness, making new memories with friends and loved ones, and goodwill towards others. That is why she started towards her goal set forth by the Grunch as soon as possible. It was Thanksgiving night, and everyone was sitting around the dinner table, picking at the appetizers spread across the setting. Everyone, that is, except Aunt Peggy.
Mindy, why are you staring at the door?
Just waiting for Aunt Peggy to show up.
Mindy's mother knew her sister wasn't coming. She knew she was at her brother's house waiting for him to get home from dinner so they could start their Black Friday shopping and then begin their celebration. There was no easy way to explain that to the little girl, so instead she simply told her,
She'll be here eventually. Why don't you go and call first dibs on the wishbone? Me and you could do it later once it dries.
Mindy thought there was a reason why everyone knew that her Aunt Peggy wasn't coming, but she also knew that she wasn't going to be told by anyone except Peggy herself, who wasn't coming. So she had to let it go for the time being. Besides, she did like getting a wishbone, and if she could use this as an excuse to make sure she got it this year, then she was fine with that. When she approached the kitchen, she could hear the turkey carver at work.
I'll never understand how anyone could eat something called the dark meat. Oh, hey, Mindy. You here for the wishbone? I usually have a few wishes myself, but for some reason, there's always someone there to stand in the way of good people trying to make those wishes come true. Oh, that reminds me. I could use some help tonight if you want to come with me. Black Friday shopping is always easier when you have someone with you to help devise a plan.
Normally, Mindy always kindly denies her uncle's requests on other years, but this time it was different. This was one of the Grunch's requests, so she said yes.
You will? Oh, that's fantastic. With the two of us, we'll be sure to get that perfect gift for your cousin this year.
The two of them finished up their conversation and brought the turkey to the dinner table. Dinner was nice, even without Aunt Peggy. Of course, that was still on Mindy's mind. How did everyone know she wasn't going to be there except her? Then Mindy started wondering if she was ever at the Thanksgiving dinners before. Either way, she couldn't be bothered with it now, because after dinner was cleared, she knew it was going to be time to put up and decorate the Christmas tree. And this year, she didn't have to wear that uncomfortable hat. That was part of the Grunch's agreement, and she was an honest little girl. So dinner got finished, everyone cleaned up, and the announcement was made that it was time to start decorating the Christmas tree. Mindy rushed with excitement to the living room where everyone else was heading, but when all of the festive hat wearers started piling in, Mindy was getting some concerned looks from them.
Oh, this is my favorite part, getting ready to decorate the Christmas tree.
Yes, although if you catch my meaning, I know we are trying to put things on a tree, but there's quite a few things I'd like to take off from some people at here at this party.
I know you've got to be talking about Susan. My God, that sweater hiding that nice sweater meat.
It seems that decorating the tree has come after she smuggled the Christmas hats.
Yes. Looked like someone took a ham, cut it in half, and stuck it underneath that blouse. Yes.
Oh, you're the height of too much.
Oh, I am, yes, decadent.
Hey, do you see that child not wearing a hat?
Careful with your voice, she'll hear you.
Oh, she won't hear me.
She'll hear you. Yes, she's a peculiar little girl not wearing her hat, but we should not draw attention to it. That is for her parents to worry about,
Do you think maybe she has the AIDS?
The AIDS?
The AIDS?
Why would having AIDS prevent a child from wearing a hat?
Well, because it takes all the hair,
But, no, you fool. That would be if she was wearing the hat.
Then you could speculate she had the AIDS.
You know what the best part about decorating a tree with a hat on is?
What's that?
You don't get any tree crap in your hair.
I'm telling you, it's just nasty getting all the pine needles and the sap and everything in your hair. It's just terrible.
Yeah, that's what they did. I swear they get these things from, like, a depressed Christmas tree.
This is worse than Charlie Brown's Christmas tree.
Don't ever say that.
Well, it is.
See, you're only saying that because you never had a tree this nice in your house.
No, that's wrong. We had a tin tree in my house.
Oh, don't look. Don't look. I said don't look.
Oh, sorry.
There's a child over there without a hat on.
Maybe she has the AIDS. Guarantee. You see all these white folk in here? Decorating this here Christmas tree? I'm
Christmas tree.
Christmas tree. In my day, we had to cut our own tree down by hand.
Yeah, this is a store-bought.
There's a store-bought tree.
And you know what? You know what else is worth?
What else?
See this shit they're hanging on here?
Oh, please. Bells, popcorn, and stars, and angels, and shit. In my day, we didn't have that. You know what my mama did?
What'd she do?
She hung a 40 from the tree.
A 40?
A Colt 45.
Did she share it?
She drank it all. Only thing she shared was the bit she pulled out for the homies.
Trifling. Oh, speaking of trifling, look at that little girl.
Oh, crazy little cracker don't know how to put on a festive hat.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem with children these days. They're getting so stupid, they can't even put on a hat.
You know what? Her mama need to do? Take her out back and get a switch. Take it to her. Take that switch to her. She'll put that hat right on.
Yeah, they'll beat the Christmas joy into her.
Beat that joy into her.
Beat that little girl into joy.
Oh, enjoy your Christmas, little.
This kind of reminds me of that episode of Star Trek.
Oh, episode 604. Yes, I know the one you're talking about.
603.
Oh, it's 603. Are you sure it's 603? Because I'm pretty sure it's 604.
No, 507 was a two-parter that was technically one episode.
What does 507 have to do with 603 or 604?
You know what? Semantics, all right?
Semantics.
I can prove that I'm better than you at a later date. But for now, this festive season has just really got me in the mood, you know?
Yes, and you know what's awesome is the fact that on the third branch from the top, they have actually the USS Enterprise Model 4.3.
That's 4.2. You're off by a point.
I am not off by a point. Look, I'll get up there and put it. Ah!
Are you okay?
Oh, why is that child not wearing her festive hat?
I mean, that was totally ninja the way you landed on your back, but I totally see your point. Children should be wearing hats during these things. Otherwise, it just ruins the whole thing. She might as well be like an extra from episode 702.
It was 703, you dingus.
Mindy dear, where's your hat?
I don't want to wear it this year. It's very uncomfortable.
Well, everyone, it seems someone got a bit of the Grunch's spirit in her this year. If you're not going to wear your hat, then you cannot take place in the decorating this year.
Mindy couldn't believe it. She didn't even think for a single second that simply because a hat was too uncomfortable, she wouldn't be able to make new memories with her family. Wasn't that what Christmas was about? Where does it say she has to wear a hat? These questions and more went through Mindy's head before she heard a voice break her concentration of negative thoughts.
Ready to go? Oh, and if you don't mind, we're going to stop at my house first. Your Aunt Peggy is there, and I have to let her know that her services aren't going to be needed this year because I have you tonight.
Mindy nodded her head and began to get dressed to go out shopping with her uncle. She thought to herself she would have a chance to talk to Peggy and ask her why she wasn't at dinner as well. Remus lived a bit off the beaten path. It was a nice-sized home for him and his son. Of course, his son was with his mother, Remus's ex-wife, until Christmas. So for the time he wasn't there, Peggy liked to keep her brother company, partly because she didn't want him to be alone, but mostly because he had similar tastes when it came to alcoholic beverages. Remus and Mindy approached the driveway and began to pull in when Remus noticed something was off. Mindy asked what was the matter, but Remus didn't respond. He just continued to squint while driving, cautiously slow, as if to suggest he was looking for someone on his property that didn't belong there. Just when Mindy started to become concerned, it seemed like Remus found what he was looking for.
I knew it! Right here, Mindy.
Mindy was a little concerned still, but she knew her uncle. She knew that he was extremely paranoid. Plus, she just seen what he'd seen.
Peggy, you in there?
Remus was concerned about his sister. He knew she was supposed to be in his house, but he was concerned with who he seen her in there with.
Yes, dear, of course I'm in here. Why are you yelling? Peggy, I don't know if you realize this or not, but there may or may not be a personal terrorist sitting there with you.
What are you talking about, dear? The only people in here are me and Brancheet.
Brancheet? That sounds like a member of ISIS for sure. At least Al Qaeda.
Don't be ridiculous. He's as gentle as your beer. Now, would you come in here before you catch a cold?
Why? Is he carrying biological weapons? Is he gonna give me a cold as anthrax?
Brancheet, please say something so that he knows you're harmless.
Hello, Remus. You have a lovely home.
Never thought one of you could say something like that about a home with an American flag hanging outside the front porch.
No, I love America, Remus, especially the freedoms you enjoy here.
Well, it's hard to argue with someone loving America for its freedoms.
Remus started to settle down a bit and decided to go get Mindy. Of course, when he turned around, she was already walking up the stairs. She knew her uncle had a specific taste in other people, and she knew he would be calmed down by her Aunt Peggy. So she already started making her way to the house from his truck. Remus went to go get his truck and bring it all the way into his driveway, while Mindy decided to ask Peggy the question that was bothering her so much. Well, you see, dear, Thanksgiving dinner is always at your house. While I do love my sister, your mother, she doesn't always have the same beverage choices that we have at this house where we hold the Christmas dinner at. Your Uncle Remus, however, does. So I always spend Thanksgiving here to partake in his beverage selection while you guys enjoy your turkey dinner. Plus, I don't really care for turkey, dear. Mindy was stunned. How could someone simply not show up to a big holiday family event simply because they didn't like the food or drink available? Wasn't the point of holidays to be together with loved ones? Of course these thoughts were once again broken by her uncle stepping into the door.
So, Peggy, can you tell me at least why you decided to bring Brancheet here anyway?
Because he's going to be my date for Christmas dinner. At least, if he can pass my test, he will be.
Pardon my ignorance, but didn't you learn your lesson from when you dated the Grunch? Sometimes circles go with circles, squares go with squares, and triangles go with triangles, if you catch my drift.
Excuse me, Remus, but who is this Grunch? And why is it that you refer to him as such?
That's simple, dear, so we don't get sued.
But why is it you will get sued for using a nickname?
Well, it goes like this. The Grunch used to go by the name of Ernest Finkelstein. Naturally, ever since grade school, we all made fun of him, calling him Ernest Dinkelstein and Stinkelstein and anything else you could think of that would go through the mind of kids. I guess he got a little tired of it because we were still calling him that well into our adult years. So he became a lawyer, big surprise, and legally changed his name to Ernest Grunchberg. He then told us that if we were to call him anything that wasn't his new name, he would be suing us for defamation of character or something similar to that. I've never played with a dreidel before, so I don't really know all the legal terms all that well. So, due to his holiday spirit, we started calling him the Grunch.
Then does this mean I am similar to the Tiny Tim character?
If that's the case, dear, then I can already tell you you're not going to pass another test of mine. Mindy was for the most part blocking out everything that was being said, as she was kind of fixated on the idea that everyone knew certain things were going to happen before she did. She started to realize that every year these things were happening, and no one does anything to change them. What kind of tradition is it to go somewhere because they have the best food or drink? What kind of tradition is it to not allow someone in on a celebration because they weren't wearing something that was uncomfortable? Seeing how terrible everything was going so far that the Grunch asked her to do, she was beginning to wonder how the last thing was going to play out when suddenly...
Okay, Mindy, you all set and ready to go shopping?
Mindy and Remus were heading to the store when he decided to lay out the plan to her.
So all you have to do is go to the right of the store, and I'll go to the left of the store.
But aren't the games straight ahead?
Yes, but we can avoid the crowd if we get around them fast enough. You know, it's great finally knowing I'm going to be able to beat his mother and getting him the better gift this year.
Mindy thought about that last part her uncle just said. Why would it mean so much to get the better gift than someone else? Isn't the act of getting a gift for someone good enough to show your goodwill towards others? Isn't that what this holiday is all about? They approached the store and started walking towards the front. Everyone was standing in place to rush the doors as they were opened for the Black Friday sales to begin. This was it. The doors finally opened up and the crowd rushed in. Mindy and Remus kind of let the crowd go ahead, and halfway through they put their plan in action. Mindy went to the left with Remus because she figured it didn't matter since the crowd was all going forward anyway. At this point, Remus reminded her that she had to go to the right.
No, Mindy, you have to go to the right. That's where the hidden sales are.
The crowd heard this and began following Mindy with their eyes.
Where did he say she was going? Did he say hidden sales? Get to the right, people! Follow that little girl!
Within seconds, Mindy had the whole crowd at her heels. At this point, it was no longer about getting there first. Instead, it was just outrunning the crowd to not get trampled. Then, suddenly, she felt her heels getting held down as if someone was giving her a flat tire. Someone even went as far as pushing her to the ground. Luckily, she was knocked to the side as to not be trampled by the rest of the crowd. Looking up for any sign of her uncle, all she could see was him looking back to see her looking up at him. Then,
She thought she heard him shout the name of the game he wanted while running.
That's why it's called Left 4 Dead, man.
A few days later, Mindy was still trying to wrap her head around all of the holiday madness. Togetherness, making new memories with friends and loved ones, and goodwill towards others. That's what she always thought Christmas was about. Yet those three very things were just destroyed right before her eyes within 24 hours. Still a little sore from the fall she took at the store the other night with Remus, she didn't want to really walk around much, but she knew she had to talk to the Grunch. She pondered it a bit, and then decided to just bear the pain and go there.
Oh, it's you again. Well, have you decided you don't want me there after all? Or am I still getting a free meal?
I was hoping you would have me as a guest for your Christmas dinner instead, Mr. Grunchberg.
Oh, just my luck. No free meal, and I have to feed someone else. Oh, you're too expensive these days with your little children mouths eating all the children food. Oh, well, I already told you I don't celebrate Christmas.
I know that. That's why I want to come here instead.
And like that, the Grunch could not imagine what she just went through with the task he sent her on, but he knew that she now seen the way Christmas is viewed by the majority of people now. It's not about goodwill, it's not about making memories, and it's not about togetherness anymore. Now it's just a price tag, recognition, and following rules no matter how meaningless they are. He agreed to her coming there, and the two had a nice dinner on December 25th, without an open bar, without silly hats, and without expensive video games. And most importantly, without a care in the world that it was Christmas.
The end.